Hi, good morning.
Morning.
David?
Mike, can you just talk about how Tyron looked yesterday and what he will be able to do today? We'll rank it up a little.
I thought Tyron had a good practice yesterday. We'll take the same course of action today. He'll go through the individual, and then we'll evaluate where he is.
Does he need to take 11-on-11 work for you to feel comfortable to play him on something?
I mean, it's really just coming out of the, the injury situation. So, obviously, we'd like to see him go through the 11-on-11, but that's the course of action is for him to do all the individual, and we'll assess from there.
Are Greg and Skip back?
I'm sorry?
Are Greg Zuerlein and Skip Pete back?
Yes, back in the building, yes.
What do you want to see from Greg to know he's ready for Sunday?
Well, just to get back into his routine, and today is our segment with the pads on, so he'll take those kicks.
Mike, knowing how competitive Dak is in every regard, what's your sense of how he's approaching this first game against the Chiefs with all the attention Mahomes and all the acclaim Mahomes has gotten through his achievements?
Oh, I would just say he's looking forward to it. I mean, this is a big challenge. We look at this as two excellent teams coming together. I mean, if I was a fan, this is a game I'd watch on Sunday. So, especially with both quarterbacks. So he's just dialed into the game plan part of it today. This is our heavy lifting day. So, but I know come Sunday he'll be excited to get out there and compete.
Since it's game 10, is it possible to make too much of this game?
I mean, does it matter what I think? I mean, it's I think it's important. I mean, it's they're playing very well this past month. We want to build off of what we accomplished in our last victory. So I mean, that's really the keeping the focus tight. We want to make sure we're focused on playing our game, playing our play style and those types of things. And so, yeah, I think when you get to the end, the journey, you may look back on this game and there may definitely be some relevance to it.
Mike, what do you think has been the key to the Chiefs' improvement on defense the last 3 games? I think they're holding average both.
I think just like a lot of teams, you have different reasons for doing different things early in the year. I mean, September football is always a challenge. You're coming out of training camp and you're coming off of a new CBA. I mean, there's just a lot of different things that go into how you start the season. But I think clearly, you can see the last 4 weeks that they've settled into how they want to play schematically.
How has Ingram helped?
Oh, he gives another pass rusher. Yeah, I mean, it's a good player. I think he's, as far as how they're rolling him in there. And, we obviously have to go back and pay attention, particularly some of the Pittsburgh tape. So, yeah, I mean, definitely have a lot of respect for him and his career.
Going back to your time in Green Bay, what kind of stands out to you about an Andy Reid coached football team?
Well, I mean, Andy and his teams were always tough, always big offensive lines. Schematically going to challenge you. So, Andy's always played an aggressive style of play, going back to, even back to Philadelphia, with Jimmy Johnson and that defense. And you can see Spags' history, Steve's history with Jimmy Johnson. You can still see some of the concepts that really Jimmy brought into this league. Or I know it was my first experience competing against, some of the pressures. So, they'll be ready to play. It'll be a great environment, and like I said yesterday, they're extremely well coached.
I think you got your start in the pros in Kansas City. Just going down memory lane, what are your thoughts about?
Love Kansas City. Have a lot of love for Kansas City. Friends there. Spent a lot of time there. Went to college right outside of Kansas City. My daughter, Alex, oldest daughter, went to University of Kansas. So have great respect for the Hunt family and the Kansas City Chiefs organization. So it's first class.
I've talked a lot with you about Dak's leadership and Zeke's leadership, but how has their friendship impacted the way they lead this team, and what have you seen from their relationship?
It's a special relationship. I would say it's on the level of brothers. I mean, they do. I mean, they're together a lot. They laugh a lot together. They push each other. They warm up together. So and you can see the connection that they have on the field. So obviously two excellent, great young football players, but definitely their bond will go far, far beyond the football field.
Have you been around players with such a bond before?
I don't know. This definitely ranks up there. Yeah, that's a great question. So they give it up for Todd, huh? No. Yeah, there you go. So no, it's definitely a special relationship. You see that right away. I mean, that's something that jumped out right away when I arrived here last year.
Is there a moment in meetings or in a game that stands out that you feel like illustrates what their relationship is?
A lot of laughter, a lot of moments. So yeah, they're very close.
You, I'm sure, well, I know you've spoken to the fact that you have big expectations for Micah as a rookie. How much has he surprised you with his ability to perform in such a versatile role? How important has it been without Lawrence and now without Gregory?
I mean, everybody's been impressed with Micah, really, from day one. I mean, I think player and coach alike. So I would say surprised, just, there's nothing that he doesn't do that's very natural to him. I mean, he's about as natural, instinctive football player that I've had the privilege of working with. So, he's working at all the other things that all young players work at when they come into this league, and dealing with the demands of the schedule. Coming to work a little earlier, and just working on the little things. And he's no different than any other rookie. He has a lot of room for growth there, but his instinct and the gifts that he has, and his flexibility that he gives us is unique.
J-Ron has handled a lot of tight ends this season. Is the challenge different with Kelce? Is he a different style than did he?
Oh, yeah. I mean, really, you think about just the 3 weeks that, between Atlanta, Kansas City, and the Raiders that just with, this 3-game stretch. But yeah, Kelce, I'm just so impressed. Because you haven't played those guys in a while, but his yards after the catch. I mean, obviously has a great feel for the passing game. He's a big target, natural hands, very smooth. But just his vertical, slippery vertical yards after the catch player is just extremely productive. And you can see him and Patrick definitely have a great connection. So, yes, it'll definitely be a big challenge for us.
You were talking earlier about just how the fans will be excited about this matchup with the quarterbacks. And what have you found that when you've had quarterbacks go up against other top quarterbacks in the league, through the years? Is there a little special element there? Can you see them wanting to kind of compare themselves to who they're going against?
Well, I think, it's being Captain Obvious, they don't compete against each other. So I think we all recognize that, but it also brings a ton of excitement to the game. And I go back to my first experience. I can remember when the 49ers came to Arrowhead. It was Joe Montana versus, Steve Young, but I want to say it was 94. And just the atmosphere that it created. I think that the media credentials for the game exceeded the Super Bowl credentials the prior year. No, I heard that. I just remember them taking all the normal chairs out of the press box because the press box was right by our office. But just the excitement that the game creates, I think, is awesome for the fans.
Of course, you want your defensive linemen to step up, but when you're missing your top 2 pass rushers and you're going against quarterbacks like Mahomes, what do you want your secondary to do to raise their level of play?
Well, I mean, first off, it has to be coordinated. So, I mean, the rush and the coverage has to be coordinated, and Patrick's play extension we talked about here yesterday is unique, and it's probably as big as a challenge as anybody's in the league. So, just his ability to not only come out of the pocket, but the way he sets the rush high, creates a little more time for the vertical players and speed players, and then comes up out through the A and B gap. So it's an extended time clock that we have to be very disciplined in that space. So, but just really be coordinated. Our rushers got to not try to do too much. Play to one another with their rush lane discipline, and no different with the coverage. We got to play to our leverage and be real disciplined with our eyes.
Andy Reid's teams have always been big screen teams. Is it still that way here in Kansas City? And what's the challenge that when they can go to the tight ends, the backs, or even receivers?
Yeah, Sandy, he does a great job of, you still see him adhere to some of the, traditional, West Coast offense principles, and obviously the screen game is a big part of that.
How unique a player is Tyreek Hill? And in which ways?
How unique is he?
How unique is he, and in what particular ways do you see that?
Well, he's just so dangerous. I mean, he can score from anywhere on the field. He's got the vertical speed, but the quickness and the change of direction, and just playing with tremendous confidence right now. I mean, just look at his targets and his numbers, reflect that. So his production, I mean, he scores touchdowns. So I mean, that's the first thing that jumps off the video. I mean, coming off the year he had last year, and he's picked up right where he left off. So just extremely explosive player.
All the other guys in the injury report yesterday were listed as full. Was that a product of, it was a shrunken down practice, or is everybody actually doing pretty well?
Full's full. I mean, I'm another great question. My goodness. Yeah, I've never had a conversation, the status was based on the practice length, but if that's the case, I'm not aware of it. So we're pretty healthy. We feel good about how healthy we're.
Full is full.
Full's full, right? Yeah.
That's why I was so.
Good?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.